Welcome to Rich Conversations. This is another one of our weekly guided reflection sessions where we're going to take about 40 to 50 minutes out of our day to just think more about our own life, more about our actions and what's going on so that moving forward we can take more precise action in our life. That was pretty good. 1, 2, 3. Welcome to Rich Conversations. This is another one of our weekly guided reflection sessions where we're going to take about 40 to 50 minutes out of our day to just think more intentionally about ourself, our life, so that moving forward we can be more precise in the actions we take and really be more joyful and more present in the moments that we have. So we're going to start like we usually do, and that's with 5 minutes of just breathing. We're just going to breathe for 5 minutes. And we're out in nature right now. You can hear this, or you can see it. 5 minutes. Just breathing. We're going to breathe in and out. Mosquitoes may bite us. We can maybe slap once, but not make a habit of it. We just want to breathe in and out. And if thoughts come on your mind, just let them pass. Just focus on breathing in and out. All right. So that was 5 minutes of breathing. It was really interesting on my end. I'm over by a pond in the woods, and all the different sounds from birds, and there's some footsteps in the woods over here, and I think it could be deer. Yesterday I sort of chased 2 does into the woods. Then I lost them, but I got a little on video. But let's start with the question that we always start off with, and that's, what are we grateful for? So take a moment, whether you're thinking consciously about it, or if you have a notebook and you're writing, or maybe you have a computer in front of you and you're typing, whatever it is that helps you better think more about the question and your life, do it. And so we're going to start off with, what are we grateful for? Infinite things to be grateful for, right? If you're in the northern hemisphere, it's summer, which is awesome. Yeah, we're just going to write about what we're grateful for. Yeah, there's so many things to be grateful for, and if you ever feel down or not in a good mental headspace, go back to this question, what are we grateful for? Because we can always find something there and be appreciative of our life and the moment, and that can help pick us up a little bit. The next question, think about something you might be dependent on, or something that you really want to change, but you know it will be hard. A variable in your life that you have not looked forward to addressing, but you know that you got to do it. What is that? Because for me, I'm doing 30 days without caffeine. This is a pretty big deal for me, I would say. I'm on day 8 of no caffeine. And these are like 8 days without caffeine in the last 12 years. I did 10 days no caffeine back in 2018, but that's something that's been on my mind for a while, something that is one of the last variables as far as life goes, and observing our energy and things like that. So I've done no caffeine for the past 8 days. So I want you to think about something like that for you, something that might be hard to give up, or something that you want to try out, even to just experiment and just observe results. It doesn't have to be a definitive, I'm never going to do this again. It's just let's just try this out a little bit, right? Yeah, caffeine for me. I didn't start drinking coffee till I was 22, after college. It was actually I started drinking coffee when I was living homeless in a homeless shelter. And during breakfast, there'd be coffee, and it was some of the most enjoyable moments to just, we would eat breakfast and then we would just like sit around and drink coffee and talk, me and other homeless guys. And it was amazing. So if you never drank coffee before, you're like, wow, this is, so that was something that really stuck with me. Just that, if you drank coffee, you know what I'm talking about. And caffeine, just how it makes you feel. And those were really treasures of moments. And I continued, and then I kept a journal during that time that I lived homeless. I voluntarily lived homeless in Chicago for 4 months to better understand the subject and the people who it affects. And first month I was just out, slept in parks, bushes, snuck into buildings, ate at soup kitchens. Then the next 2 months I was in a particular shelter program on the west side of Chicago. And then the last month I was kind of all over the place, but kind of similar to the first month a bit. And that's something that stuck with me, drinking coffee. And then I kept a journal during the time, and then I would get access to a computer and drink coffee while I was doing it, and I'm just pumping out like eight single-spaced pages. It was crazy. And I never really... I loved it so much that I abused it. And so now I'm kind of refocusing on it. And my guess is that I'll have more energy overall without caffeine than with caffeine, and it's like a roller coaster throughout the day. And that's something I have observed already, and that's I'm less aware of time in a way, because it was almost like when I was drinking. And if you've been watching these or listening to these weekly guided reflections, I always have like espresso next to me, and I'm sipping on it. It's enjoyable. I love it. But it would almost be like throughout the day I would have to keep track of time. So then and just kind of map out when I'll have the most energy, when I'm going to come down. And it's just like, now I don't even have to think about it. And we're recording this in the evening. We've never recorded a weekly guided reflection in the evening because we're usually tired. Well, I have a lot of energy. I just got done playing basketball. I was on fire too. So I'm feeling good. I feel good. But what's something like that for you? Caffeine for me, something I wanna, just tinker with a little bit. First morning without caffeine, I started July 5th because I'm not gonna even bother to start before 4th of July and all that. So, but I was volunteering cleanup at 4th of July festival. Not exactly the most ideal thing you want to be doing your first day without caffeine. Cleaning up, lifting things, talking to people. The headaches weren't too bad. I thought they'd be a lot worse. I did a similar thing. I did 10 days, no caffeine. And the first 3 days were just punishing. This wasn't too bad. It's more so the like less motivation, lack of like, if I'm trying to type something on a computer, not a chance. So this week I did things that were like less cognitive intense. I've been digitalizing photos, physical photos, digitalizing them. I think that's going to be something in the future that people, families will be considering. So this next question, what's something that doesn't require high cognitive focus that you can do kind of building a rhythm in case you want to do something like this? So for me, it's like digital photos and ramping up exercise. Yeah, something you can do that's kind of like automatic, but enjoyable and productive. You know, a lot of times I think, at least for me, productivity, it's like, let's write a book today. And that requires a lot of intense focus and stuff, but it's like you can do other things that are less cognitive required. Yeah, digitalizing photos. I think that's going to be a really big thing. So many people have like physical photo albums of family and just life. But in the future, people are going to want to have those digital for a number of reasons. So what the thing about it though is it's so labor intensive. There's not quite a way yet to do it on a like mass scale. So I'm doing like 4 photos at a time. I'll guess I've done like 2,000 photos so far in like 4 or 5 days. Yeah, day 8. My like cognitive functioning is still much slower. I was talking with a friend about like the Disney movie Hercules, when Hercules gives up his power because he's in love with Meg. And then he's getting beat up and stuff because he doesn't have his powers. That's kind of what it feels like. and so I don't quite have my full functioning back yet. I'm just like a little slower. Now, like we mentioned, if you're in the northern hemisphere, it's summer. So let's think about things you want to be doing in summer. Like, what are 2 things you really want to do? So I'm spending the summer in the countryside, and something I want to do is clear this path we have in the woods. There's some trees that are falling, so I have to take a chainsaw to it and cut up these trees, get all the branches that are on the trail. The other thing I want to do is download an app that can identify plants and just like go around and just learn all the plants that are around. That's kind of the theme of my summer is nature, just immersing myself in nature. And if you followed stuff I've been doing this year, whether it's in Miami or Los Angeles or New York, like I love just checking out the flora and fauna of everywhere I go. It's so interesting to me. Your eyes just see all these different things. And I almost downloaded an app when I was in Miami. I was with Shelby Thomas. And so after we recorded, we went to, we're in Miami Beach, and we went to the beach at this hotel, and then on the outside, and there's this Hotel Faina. There's this gold mammoth fossils just like right there. It's amazing. And there's all these different plants around it, and I'm like, oh, what is this? And I'm asking her because she lives in Florida, and I'm just assuming that she knows all that. And so we were talking about these plant apps. I would spend money on an app that can identify plants. I think that'd be valuable. So I want to go around and identify all the different plants. Yeah. Summer would be successful with those 2 things. Been building campfires. Been having campfires every few days. I'm experimenting with like the most optimal setup to start the fire. And I've been working with these like log cabins. So more of like a square, and start it in the middle rather than a teepee. I've traditionally been like a teepee kind of guy. But, we'll see. I'm observing how this is going. It's not too bad. It takes a little while to catch. I would say it's more effective immediately, but less effective in getting it full throttle quicker. So that's probably what I'll do this evening. I've been seeing some red-tailed hawks. One, I was riding my bike, and then just flew right over me, like real close to me, and then like up. I was like, wow, how amazing. Planet Earth. What's your most amazing encounter with nature? That's our next question. And probably animals. Like specify more our experience with animals in nature, I guess. Remember Bryce Gunning, marine biologist. We had him on recently. He was on a boat in the Pacific Ocean, and a whale just came right up. I feel like that's right up there on a lot of people's animal nature bucket lists, is to be right by a whale. I believe it was a humpback whale, he said. That would be terrifying. Imagine if you were like a kayak. I had a cool one when I was in Yellowstone. When I was in Yellowstone National Park, I was kind of by the canyon, Yellowstone Canyon, the waterfalls. Was it the waterfalls or the canyon or somewhere near there? And then there's this bison just right there in the woods. I guess it's forest out there, but actually other times too, like if you're driving around Yellowstone, bison will just cross the road. So there are times where I'm driving right next to bison, and they're as big as the car. Terrifying. Pretty cool experience, I would say. Growing up on a farm, I've had like every pet imaginable. We nursed, I think the coolest one was we nursed a red-tailed hawk back to health. That was cool. Raccoons, pet raccoons, those are fun. Goats were kind of obnoxious. We had these potbelly pigs. They didn't last too long. Horses, I got bucked off a horse when I was 4. So horses weren't a big thing. They were no longer on the farm. After that, took lambs to the county fair every year. Dogs, cats. We'd always go in my grandma's cellar. There'd be salamanders there and frogs, toads around, other birds. I don't think we ever had a pet like possum or skunk. Some of my family members have been sprayed by skunks. I never have. There aren't too many possum around here, actually. Turtles. There's a pond over here, and there's snapping turtles. Those are the ugliest animals on planet Earth. I'm sorry, but they are ugly. Disgusting. Pretty frightening. That's why I never go in the water. I'm afraid they're gonna snap off one of my appendages or something. Yeah, snapping turtles. You'll get in the spring too on the country roads. There'll be turtles on the roads, and sometimes you gotta move them or else they get run over by cars. Yeah, but animals can be really fun. Wildcats. But I think it's important that we just kind of pay attention to other animals, and just appreciate we're all in the same space and environment. Oh, cows. Yeah, we've had cows. That's for sure. I feel good. Like, without caffeine for 8 days, my energy level is much more, I don't want to say flatlined, because that sounds like death. It's just kind of like consistent. I've had more energy in the evenings than I have before. The mornings have been easier to get up, as far as like not needing caffeine. I don't know. It's interesting. Definitely could use some more focus, though. What's your next plan to be in nature? You know, are you going to the beach? Are you going to go to a park? Are you going to camp out? You know, whatever you're going to do. To kind of piggyback off of that question, the next question, why don't we think about what's our favorite summer memory we have? There might be a few. Maybe you just pick one or two. I feel like everybody's in just a much better mood overall during the summer, warm weather. Kind of wait all year for this. Someone recently told me that they kind of are looking forward to fall now. Typical Midwest. All right, summer's here. All right, this is good. All right, but fall is like where the Midwest, like that's the Midwest favorite season. Yeah, every season can be enjoyable. I think my least favorite season is spring. Everything's quite ugly. The weather's gray, wet, rainy. Well, in the Midwest. That's why I go to other places. Like this year was LA and Miami. Last year was Mexico City and Miami. I remember we were in Mexico City, and I was staying with a family, and we went to the pyramids. And I'm just like, it's just 80s and sunny every day that I was there. And I'm just like this. And they're holding umbrellas to shield the sun from them. They're like, oh, I can't believe you're out here like this. And I was like, El Sol. Yeah, the sun. There's got to be a correlation between the sun and energy in things. Humans, animals, plants. You can write that down. Yeah, summer memories. Looking at an oak tree right now. Imagine how many summer memories it has. There's this one on the farm I think is 300 years old. I don't think it's quite 400, but I think it has surpassed 300. That's another potential project, is transplanting young oak trees. Now, I don't want to kill them, so I got to do some research. But I'm curious of like how they start. A lot of times if you try to plant one, it doesn't grow. It doesn't work out. But I'm thinking like squirrels bury like acorns and they forget about them, and then it works. Yeah, there's a bunch. Like an oak tree is a very long-term thinking tree. So it's one you want to really think about, where you want to plant it and the circumstances, and really give thought to it. So let's use that as our next question is, have we been thoughtful with plants in regards to if we have some in our house, apartments, on our land? Just like, have we been thoughtful, and in what ways could we be more thoughtful in the future? Yeah, yesterday I was reading, looking west over the field, watching the sunset, reading a book. I don't know if I've really expressed this yet, but I let my lease run in Chicago, and I'm spending the summer back on the farm in Wisconsin, and I'm using it as kind of a, like we had mentioned with giving up caffeine, it's kind of like a designed rehab program for myself, because caffeine's had a hold on me, and it's something I want to adjust or experiment with. And I feel being in nature will serve me best for that like healing process. I notice when I'm around other people, I get a little bit more anxious, I guess. But I don't know. We'll see. It's only 8 days that I've done it with this recording, so. But I do notice things already, that's for sure. I hope it, works out. Okay. Why don't we think about what we're curious about recently? Something I'm curious about is like, I know the answer to this. Actually, I don't. But say a friend comes into your life that you haven't talked to in 14 years. Maybe even more, 15 years. And you just like reconnect. Is there meaning in that, right? Is that coincidence? Or is it sort of meant to happen? It's interesting, isn't it? It's a beautiful thing how people, we could develop relationships and spend time and have experiences with people, and our lives kind of float separate ways, and then at a moment they're brought together again, and it's, I don't know, it's quite beautiful. It's kind of mind-blowing at the same time. It's kind of funny. I don't know. But I think it's special because we're only on Earth for a short time. And so we want to make the most of our experience and our time and the moments that we have. And it's important not to take it for granted. We got one shot at life. And we don't want to spend that time being angry or regretful or feeling slighted or feeling down. We want to make the most of it. And we make the most of it with others, with friends, with people. And we're not going to remember the time that we spent scrolling on whatever social media app that's on our phone. We won't really remember those moments. It's moments with people, moments with family, friends, loved ones. And so why don't we go out on that note? Just those last thoughts. Thank you for being here. This has been another weekly guided reflection session where, we just think more about our lives. And the questions are just meant to get us to think a little bit more intentionally about experiences we've had and things we're looking forward to. So we can just keep that in mind, keep that kind of floating on our mind as we go about our days moving forward. We can be more precise in all the things that we do. And it's incredible how accurate you can be in your actions. So it happens with repetition, again and again. And so these are just exercises that we can consistently do every week to get us going in that direction. So thank you for being here. We'll see you next time.